live episode. Well, I don't know what episode number you're gonna be, bro. But this is the first filmed episode of. I think this is gonna be called the Everyday Joe Show or Everyday Joe Podcast. I don't know what the name is, but this show's special, man. This show is for the people that I think don't get shows. This show is for the people I think everyone wants to hear from. They got a million questions for them, but there's nowhere to like go online and get the answers. And I only invite people here where I feel like I got 1,000 questions for you myself. So why don't we just film it for everybody else to hear also, you know?
Yeah, let's do that.
So for people who don't know, I don't know if I should call you Live Life Customized or Devon. What are we calling you?
You can call me D. Mm-hmm. I go by D with my business. This is Live Life Customized.
Yeah.
But you can call me D.
All right, so Live Life Customized. Call him D. Man, so what do you do?
What I do is I customize cars. So I like to live life customized. So I took my lifestyle and I put it into my business. So I wrap cars. I paint parts of the cars to customize it, like your wheels, your brake calipers, your grill.
Yeah.
Anything you want. If you want to make it yours, I can customize it.
Sheesh. Okay. So I got a lot of questions already.
Yeah.
First and foremost, obviously, I'm going to assume every guy's story who starts a business like this starts with you doing your own car.
Pretty much, yeah. My whole family, we've always been into cars. From my grandpa, from my uncle, to just both sides of my family, we've always been into cars. So I used to see my cousins, even my brother, my older brother, he was into cars too. He would go spend a lot of money, customize his car. I was like, that's cool. I didn't have any money.
Yeah.
I was only a freshman in high school. So with my car, I decided, I was like, I don't have any money, but I want a certain look.
Yeah.
I want to look cool, you know? So I just kind of grabbed my balls and I spray painted like a cool design on my truck. And like, and my mom was like, what are you doing? Like you're ruining your car. Like, you're never going to resell it. But I was like, I wanted a certain look. So I did it with my own hands. And that's really where it started. But I didn't know it was going to keep going into my own business.
Right. Because for those who don't know, we have a mutual friend. And that's kind of how we connected and decided to really do what we're doing here. Yeah. And that friend is a music producer. And you guys met in college, right?
College, NAU.
So you clearly didn't go to college to learn how to wrap cars.
No.
So what happened, man? Because what did you go there for initially?
So initially, I went to school for criminal justice. I was going to become somewhere. I really wanted to be like a SWAT. I wanted to be like a cool guy, like a badass guy. But as I went to school for criminal justice, and I really only did that because my father told me, he was like, hey man, you like cars, that's cool, but how are you going to be able to afford it? You have to go to school for something. All your brothers and sisters have, so you need to make sure you're doing something. So went to school for criminal justice. Within that time, I was going to school for that, and I was learning more about it, and it was cool. But cars are just always on my mind. Yeah. I'm like, okay, cars this, cars that. So what I did was, when I was coming home from like breaks, Christmas breaks, summertime, I would put an ad in Craigslist. Hey, I could paint your wheels, or whatever I knew how to do at the time. I said I could do, because I had a love for cars. So even though I'm going to school for this, I still had to have my hands in what my true love. So what ended up happening was, I was going to school for criminal justice. I realized I didn't want to do that. And partly because I was still working on cars. So I was like, maybe I can still have my degree in that. And if I need to use that, that'll be a backup. But I think I'm going to for sure try to venture out in my true love, which was cars. So my junior year, when I was in college, my ex was like, hey man, like, what are you really going to do? After school, like, are you going to go to the criminal justice, or are you going to, do your car thing? And at that point, I started applying for the Flagstaff, Arizona Police Department. And during that time, I realized this is not something I really want to do. Like, they're getting to know so much about me, and I don't even really want them to. And I just really learned, I'm like, okay, well, maybe this is time for me to take that leap, take that jump and do something I really want to do. And wherever I go with that, at least I like say I tried.
Right.
And still have a plan B.
Right.
Haven't used that plan B yet, but that's really how it started. Like
How long has it been since those days?
So I'm 29 now. I took that leap back when I was just turned 20.
Oh,
so it's been 8 years.
You're out of here. You're out of here, man. I feel like you got to retake the classes if you don't do that now.
No, yeah. And you know what? I did still. When I first started, I still needed like I started my business, but it takes time to actually have the income flowing and the business coming in. So I was still doing like armed security. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna still do something I'm used to, and I started like doing armed security and using that money to put into my business, so I can, furthermore continue with what I want to do.
So I got a lot more questions about the later half, but let's keep talking about the beginning because.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I can assure you, I'm pretty handy. I'm pretty good with tools. I still called you,
No, that's real.
And for me, there's two reasons, right? So one is I'm pretty passionate about when you do something that's within the things you live with and you use. I want a guy who does it 5 days a week. I want
7 days a week, every day. I don't stop. I don't get a break.
I was trying to use some credit. 7 days a week. All right.
I'll keep it real.
Yeah.
Keep it G.
I want that guy because you've ran into the problems, you've made the mistakes, and you've creatively found the solutions. And when I run into it, in the amount of time it's going to take me, even without problems, you would have done it in 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So I mean, even today, you came before we've done this show, you cranked out some work for me today. Definitely. And how do you get to the level where you go, okay, because obviously when you do it on your own cars, you can make the mistakes, you can screw up, you can look at it every day and go, it's fine, I did it.
Yeah.
How do you decide, okay, it's time to do it on other people's cars for money? When do you make that leap? How does that happen?
Well, originally I started with my car, right? Like you said, you start with your own car.
Yeah.
And then I moved on to my friends' cars. So that leap right there was kind of like
could end some friendships, man.
It could end some friendships, but at least I'm not gonna get sued.
Right.
So I kind of wormed my way into doing full-time strangers' cars. So it's
like a friend of a friend kind of thing.
Yeah, it was me, and then I said, "Mom, let me do your car." Uncle, let me do your car. Then, homie, let me do your car.
Why can't I have a you in my family?
Hey, you probably do. You probably do. You probably do.
I promise you I don't. Because, man, I everything I can do for my family skill-wise, I do.
That's right.
And everything they can do for me, they do. But none of us do cars like the way you do cars,
I appreciate that.
And we're not... There's only 2 or 3 of us in my family that are like true car people like that. So, I don't think anyone in my family has their car wrapped right now. No one.
Well, hit me. Tell them to hit me up.
Oh, trust me, we will. We will.
We can get it right.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the issue is for me. It's getting a car where it's worth putting that extra money into it. Because let's be honest here. A lot of the stuff people who love cars, a lot of things we do to the car, they're not going to change the intrinsic value of the car. And you're still going to put that bread into it. Some of the things we do are for us.
Yeah.
You take it to a dealer, they're going to go, bro, this is how much the trading value is.
So it's all about numbers with them. But when it comes to me, it's about what you care for, what makes you happy. You got to see this car every day and pay on it. And it's not cheap.
Yeah.
No car nowadays is cheap. Even like from Honda to Kia to the cheaper brands. I mean, what do we call cheap nowadays?
I can't think of a cheap car that I can't think of a cheap car I'd want to pay additional money to customize.
Exactly.
So it's an interesting journey, man. And what got you into cars in the first place? Was it Fast and the Furious?
Oh my gosh, don't go there. I love Fast and Furious. Paul Walker, that was my idol. Rest in peace. Yeah, a little bit of Fast and the Furious.
That's what got me into cars.
Honestly, we've always been into cars, like I said, for my family. So personally, what drew me into cars, I can say, was like the first Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, I like this thing, right? But then you see it being done in such a cool way, like cars. Okay, well now they're racing these cars, they're customizing these cars. But not only that, these guys are real, legit, genuine cool guys. Like even the character they portray in the movies, it's like so much more than the cars. So now I'm looking at that aspect. I'm like, okay, well, cars is just a bigger thing, So for me, I felt like if I love this materialistic thing like a car, then I can actually use that and portray who I really am as a person.
Yeah.
So like I love to work on cars, but really I'm really giving back to the community because I'm making you happy. Exactly. As a customer. So and like I look at Paul Walker and people like that, they were just genuine good guys. In and out of the movies. So like as a young kid I saw that and I was like, I want to be like that. So hopefully I'm going in that direction.
So you're in a position where I'm not trying to blow up your spot or anything, but you're in a position now where you're clearly profiting off your business. You're busy, and I assume this is what you do for a living now, right?
This has been since I made that leap, and when I was 28 years ago, that's what I've been doing every single day. It's been a journey.
So let me ask you this question. For the young guy out there, maybe the older guy, I don't know, who's maybe watching this right now, and they go, I want to get into wrapping my own cars, maybe doing it for other people, starting a business. What are the mistakes you made that you're going to tell them, hey, this is how you skip that? What are the things you could advise someone on?
The first thing I'm going to say is if you don't have your heart into it, don't do it. Mm-hmm. If you want to just hop on something just because it's cool and it's a fad right now, that's cool. But at the end of the day, whatever you do, you got your heart in it if you're going to go all the way or go as far as you can. So if you have your heart into it, then I would say, just have patience. Mm-hmm. If you're going to do it, then do it, but just have patience. Nothing happens overnight. I've always moved like I needed it to happen overnight, knowing that it's not going to happen overnight. Yeah. If you feel what I'm saying. So it's been a lot. When I mean patience, for what I do, even just like the labor side, you can't rush it. You can't rush it. Even if you want to rush it, you can't. Like, it's a process. So I would tell the younger guy, just focus up, keep your heart, because there's going to be plenty of days. Not one day, not two. There's going to be a lot of days where you just want to give up and just call it a quits. You're like, I could do something else. But even if you're doing something else, it's going to be the same case, whatever it is, if you have to give your heart into it. So just give your heart and just give it all, and you're going to figure out ways to overcome whatever your issue is. Whether you're getting help, whether you're just getting more intel or experience, you're going to figure it out. You're going to figure it out if you have the mindset, if you want to.
So for someone like you who has kind of found their passion, their love, and is making a living off it in your 20s, I mean,
last year in my 20s, man.
Yeah, but you got a lot more life left in you, man.
Oh, man.
What's like the 5-year plan, the 10-year plan, the 20-year plan? What happens next? Because obviously you can't just do 7 days a week doing cars every single day, right?
Surely you cannot. I'm glad you asked me that, because the older we get, you tend to think about that more and more. You always want to start with a plan, but I mean, most people don't even have afterward they're gonna, planned out what they're gonna do after 5 years. But for me, within these next 5 years, what I want to do is I want to build my shop up even more. I have a little shop. It's nothing crazy, but I feel like within 5 years, I can build my business up so much with that shop to the point where after, hopefully with not 5 years, but within the 5 years, I can expand and go into a larger facility, knowing that I'm confident that I can do everything I want to do and bring more business to that facility. I want to offer more services that I personally can't do. One-stop shop. Gotcha. So within the 5 years, I want to have a one-stop shop. I'm halfway there because we do offer more than what I do, like tent services. I have a tent tech. So we're still getting it in. We can give you whatever you're asking for, but within the next 5 years, I want to have a larger facility to take in more clientele. In 10 years, I want to be able to venture off to not where it's just one-stop shop. I want to open up even more businesses that have to do with Live Life Customized, car washes, everything car related. Yeah. So even down to car repair, collision. I want to be able to offer separate facilities for that. So
D's gonna be the guy you call. He is your car's caregiver.
I used to be a caregiver for the elderly too.
Really?
Yes, for years.
This man's lived many lives.
my mom does that. Yeah, it's called a Rainbow of Care, but she does. She sends nurses out to people's homes. I was doing that.
Let's go a little closer for me.
I was doing that since I was like legally 18, since I was old enough
to. So you make a lot more sense to me now, because your family is people who love cars, and your family are people who are business minded. They're entrepreneurial, and you were able to see those examples and kind of mold that into yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm like a mold of my mom and my dad. My dad was a CHP, Highway Patrol Officer. Then he actually got shot.
Really? As a CHP?
Yeah.
Oh, those are the guys you think don't get shot, man.
Yeah, that's what you think. He actually got shot. The bullet's still in him too. It's crazy. Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. Well,
can I know what happened?
I don't know if he feels comfortable. It's not a big deal, but I don't know. But at the end of the day, he got shot. He didn't have a vest on, and I'm not gonna. This is like back in the day.
Yeah.
He's older. Mm-hmm. So it was back in the day. He didn't have a vest on, and like you said, he didn't feel like he needed to. But he actually got shot in the back. 40. It was a 40. It was a 45. It was a big bullet.
Yeah.
And you can't remove that. So that kind of like enabled me growing up, seeing him. He used to be a cop, and then he got hurt. So to the point where he's like, okay, what am I gonna do? Lay around all day and not do anything? So he actually started his construction company, and then I watched him do that as I was growing up. So that kind of like
you've seen it all,
me.
man.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's it's funny how life-changing events can alter our path, so
definitely.
A lot of times I've heard people, and this is it sounds annoying when you first hear it, but your boss will not even your boss, maybe someone will tell you like, maybe it's a good thing you got fired.
Yeah.
And
maybe it's a good thing you got shot, Dad.
And you're like, exactly, like it sounds crazy to say that, but
God, man.
it's your path. You're not going to deviate from a path that's working ever, even if it's not working to the best of your personal ability. Yeah. But if you get forced to make a left turn, maybe you're going to naturally go towards where you're supposed to be,
Yeah.
And some people like you, for example, you're just going to make the left turn. You don't need a tragic event to happen. You just make the turn.
I've seen enough.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's because you've seen it, so you're subconsciously, you just know. Yeah. But yeah, I think a lot of people that happened in COVID,
Oh,
COVID
definitely.
Put a hard stop on what you were doing before, and now you had the time to self-reflect.
I like that.
And stuff like that.
That's true.
I mean, that's kind of what happened for me, during COVID. I developed new skills. I was working on other things because I'm not really a stagnant, don't do anything guy. Mm-hmm. My days off are work days, just like you. I don't take days off per se. So I'm doing shows or music or regular work or I'm doing something at all times. And COVID was awkward because I was like, wow, I have more time than I have things to do. Yes. And I had never had that before.
It definitely put a stop on everybody's lives. Like,
how was that for you?
Oh, for me, it was wonderful. I loved it. All the rich clients that in Beverly Hills or they didn't have time. Hey, I'm in the studio. Hey, I'm in the office. Hey, I'm this or that. Now where you at? You at home. I could pull up.
That's what I thought.
What's your excuse now? So it definitely... I'm not gonna lie, my business actually elevated during COVID because I've been mobile. So they're like, finally got to see what I do and what I'm worth, So even more per se. Yeah. So I was able to actually continue my nothing. Like I said, everything was like available to me. There was no traffic. It was more clientele available for me. There was no guys bullshitting. I didn't have the clientele that was like, hey, come out Saturday. And then Saturday comes like, hey, I'm going to reschedule. Like, no, there was none of that. Because everybody was at home. Right. So in that kind of form, the aspect, it definitely helped my business out. Nice. I loved it. I mean, besides the whole COVID part.
Yeah, of course. But to be honest with you, that was the best year of my life.
It was fun. I'm not gonna lie. I was outside. I shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
I was outside having a good time.
I mean, this place I'm in now, this happened during COVID.
Okay.
The first car, so... Not to tell my story on your episode, but I've always bought and sold cars since. That's the one thing I learned from my dad. He took me to tow yards and auction yards when I was 13, 12, so I've seen the process over and over and over and over. I've sat in so many cars. And that's why I love cars also. Yeah. But I never really worked on them because we were selling them faster than we could fix them. We tell people, look, we selling them at a discount because the tranny's a little messed up. They're like, all right, I'll take it. Boom. We're just pushing them.
Hey, and you guys are hustling.
Yeah. So, I mean, in my life, I've owned personally driving day to day, I've probably owned 9 cars. And I've bought over 60 cars in my life. Oh, see. So I was buying a car a week at one point, and I did that for 2 years. So I was getting busy, and during COVID, I finally bought an electric Golf, and it was a 2015. It only went 85 miles of range, Then I sold that because it was just unrealistic. I got a 2017. It went 125 miles.
Yep, work your way up.
And then I had a little insurance situation where they totaled it out, bumped up to a 2019, sold that, and then I got to the Tesla. And, you know, because of the way the used car market is, I made money every time I sold one.
Yeah.
So I ended up I netted like $9,000 driving those cars that whole time. Crazy. Just selling them to dealers. I wasn't even selling them to people.
Yeah, just the way the market's going and the way life is going.
So, yeah, that car, the first Golf I bought, electric Golf, it was worth $13K off a dealer when I bought it. By the time I was ready to sell it, it was worth $16K off a dealership.
That's crazy.
So, you know.
You're like, what depreciation?
I was like, look, I've never seen this process happen. I'm going to take advantage. Yeah. And now I'm in a position where I'm going to keep my car. And that's why you're here, because I'm going to keep it. So, you know, it all worked out. But I don't even know why I told that story now.
No. That's a story right there that a lot of my clients have a similar story. Like, hey, man, I got a good deal on this car, and they gave me a good deal on my last car. Now I'm hitting you up. Yeah. So, no, I'm glad to see the route.
Yeah, man. I mean, for me, I love cars. And the most I've ever done to a car is tint my windows and put a system. And I do that with every car I've ever driven.
A lot of people.
Yeah, but I'm in a car now where I'm looking at it and going, I could keep this for 10 years, you know? And so that's when I was like, okay, it's time for me to do those things I always wanted to do to a car. Because I go to car shows. I like to see other people's cars. I follow car pages.
Yeah, you want to be in the mix too.
I never had one that I would post until now, you know. So
yes, I love that.
Yeah, so
I love that.
Here's my next one for you. So they always talk about the mechanic's car, right? And it's the guy who fixes cars all day.
And his shit looks like a piece of shit.
Exactly. So let's talk about what do you drive? What do you own? Man. You know, what do you have? You got a beat up car? You got a nice car? I mean, personally, I know the answer to this because I've seen your cars, but let's talk about it.
You might have seen one or two. I have 4 cars.
This makes perfect sense. So, what do you have?
Okay, so I'm gonna start with my nice cars. Okay. I have a newer Beamer M340. They call it the 4-door Supra. I'm in the Speed.
Oof, I love Supras. So.
Yeah, I'm in the Speed, so it's I call it the Hellcat killer. But anywho, I have that. And then I have my Dodge Ram. I have a 2004 Dodge Ram that I built myself. Obviously, I paid money to have a shop help me out with it and whatnot. But I take personal pride in that car. It's nice. It has nice wheels and stuff. So I drive that. Then I have my race car. I'm getting down to my mechanic car. Yeah. Then I have my race car. I have a 2000 Camaro SS SOP, and that's my race car. It's very light. It's the catfish looking one. Yeah, that's just my baby. Then I have my everyday car that I do put. You saw my Beamer when I pulled up to your Tesla. But every day, when I first started my business for like the first 5 years, I was pushing a 2013 Scion TC. Good car, Toyota motor, but as the years went by, I put 80,000 miles in 1 year on that car. So it started becoming beat up. So I can literally say I have had that mechanic's car where it's like, okay, the guy who's working on your $100,000 car is pulling up in a beat up car. Like, yes, because I'm driving it every day. Yeah, I'm literally doing 200 miles a day. I don't really care about this car. That's why I have it. But then again, you do have those clients where it's perspective. They do want to see. If you're gonna touch my Ferrari, bro, you can't pull up in a Scion. Yeah. Hey, I'm here to prove that that whole narrative is wrong. Yeah. Like this is transportation. I'm gonna do a great job, and they end up seeing that and they love it. But as time goes by, you're able to afford certain things. So I was like, let me just upgrade my whip that I'm pushing every day. So now I do drive my Beamer every day because the clientele and the companies and the dealerships I have to deal with, it is a look. I don't really care about the look, but it is. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just more comfortable driving in my Beamer than in my Scion now.
It's branding, like you said.
It's branding. Yeah. At the end of the day,
if you showed up to a Subway and the guy just had on some baggy jeans and a tank top, you'd be like, man, you putting your hands on my sandwich, man.
If you have to do that, if you have to, that's all you got.
Yeah.
Run that. I did. I made so much money in my Scion, pushing everything. Humbled me Mm-hmm. Like, it kept me humble. You know, I was like, okay, I can afford this. I can afford that. It's like, but for what? So I kept pushing. I was like, then I felt good pushing my car, my little Scion. So the point where I was like, I pushed my other cars, and it's cool because I worked for that, but there's nothing like my mechanic car that I started with my whole business with. Mm-hmm. It's a tie to it, but yeah, it's branding. You do need a look if you're able to. Yeah. To get to where you need to go.
And I mean, obviously, for someone who's successful at what you do, your probable best advertisement is word of mouth, I would assume, right?
Yeah, it started that way. That's always going to be the best. Advertising, of course, you want to branch off and do social media advertising. You want to do in person. You want to do anything you can. But at the end of the day, you're going to see what's working. Mm-hmm. Everything hopefully is working. But you're going to see what's working more. Like what leads you're getting from word of mouth. What leads you're getting from Instagram, Yelp, even like down to OfferUp, what I was telling you about. Everything. Take advantage of everything. But for me, it started word of mouth. It's because I was a genuine guy. I would come to my customers, talk to them. I made a lot of friends. Customers, now they're good friends. We go drink on the weekends. We go hiking or whatever, you know, it may be, even to the lake. But it started with word of mouth, and it's been that way. And so I can definitely say word of mouth is it's a genuine way of advertising. Yeah, man. That's when you know you're doing something good.
Exactly.
They're talking about you.
Yeah. Okay, man. Nightmarish experiences.
Gosh.
Look, I've been in all forms of customer interactive work for the last decade. Talk to me about, obviously, if I were to guess what happens, it would be, that wasn't there before you came.
We've had those. Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
That's fine. I can deal with that. It's just other things, bro.
What's the bad stuff?
Man, honestly, there hasn't been and I'm happy to say this, there hasn't been too many bad things. Like my bad experiences, I could put on one hand. Yeah, on one hand. And I hate to say this, but my worst experience was with the guy who was being very racial. I don't want to say, what's the word? Very prejudiced.
Okay.
You know, so like I said, I put up with my Scion, you know, okay. But when somebody starts making comments like, oh man, is my car gonna look like that? I'm like, bro, there's nothing done to my car. My car is stock. What are you talking about? Like, yeah, it looks like it has a lot of miles, but like now you're just gonna try to insult me. Yeah. Not a big deal. Whatever. Like, let me show you I can do my work. Let me do my thing. So, he just tells me right away, all right, well, look, I know I picked you right, but I'm the type of guy. He owned this salon, and the salon wasn't too big time, but I guess it was in a wealthy neighborhood. Do your thing, bro. So, but just don't talk to me in a disrespectful way. But he started getting disrespectful. As soon as I came out, I guess he didn't think I was going to be African American. There's not a whole lot of African Americans that do what I do. Yeah. Work on cars, especially being mobile. And he started getting racial with me. He's like, so look, man, I know you do, looks like you do a good job, but I don't want it done. He started assuming what I was going to do. So I don't want it done fast. I want you to take your time on this. I just don't want to look ghetto. And I'm like, okay. All right, bro. You know, I was like, all right, whatever. You know, I've been here doing stuff like that. But then I did my job, right? He loved it. He came outside. I wrapped his whole car. He looked at every nook, cranny. Like, I'm like, bro, do you want a magnifying glass? Like, I don't mind. I stand behind my work, right? Yeah. So he's like, this looks really nice, man. It's so smooth. And I knew he was kind of off because he's like, this looks so smooth like a baby's butt. Like, it's just so smooth. I'm like, okay. And then before he paid me, he had me sign an extra contract. Not my contract. He wanted his own contract. He's like, I order $100 meals every night, and I always complain about them, so I just want to make sure I'm being taken care of. I'm like, okay. And then, long story short, man, the next day, he was like, man, this is nice, but I think keyword, I think I told you I wanted a satin finish instead of a matte finish. Which is just a different, less glossier finish on this car. I was like, no, it's really right here. He's like, no, I think I told you in person when you came. I was like, I don't know what you're doing, man, but it's all written. You signed a contract. We're good. He's like, look, man. He started getting racial. Like, you people always never listen, this and that, and I need a refund. I'm going to instantly sue you if you don't give me a refund. And I'm like, man, look, like, this is why you signed a contract. He was like, look, I have lawyers. He started getting crazy. I have lawyers. I can figure that out. I just want my money back. I'm like, man, I already did the work. You said you wanted mad. Now you're talking about satin and stuff. So at this point, I just feel like you're trying to get over me and just trying to get extra money. And at the end of the day, I met up with him, and he tried to get physical with me. And I literally had to end up calling the police because I was at his facility. Yeah. And he doesn't like what I was saying. I say, look, man, I can redo the work literally for half the price, but you can't get a refund. So stuff like that. That was my worst experience. Nothing too crazy, but when he pushed me, I'm not gonna lie, it could have got really crazy. Like, like, personally, I don't take any disrespect, but this is business, and I have to choose, like, to snitch. I was like, look, man, I'm calling the police because you're not gonna get your money. So now it's a civil thing, but well, I've been doing all I can do for you. But he called me out of my name, called me the N-word, and I just thought it was a movie. I was like, there's really people out here like this still. And when I did something for you, and you loved it. So look, that was my worst experience because
I didn't know who you were when I got your ad. Someone gave me your ad, and it just said "Live Life Customized." And I went,
you don't know what
I
race,
trust this
what
guy.
color?
I trust this the guy who recommended you. I trust that guy. So I went, okay, this guy's got taste. I showed up. When I saw you, I went, oh yeah,
he's a brother.
Oh yeah, we're in here. I was so happy when I saw you.
You shook my hand. You're like, yeah. I'm like, cool.
I was like, oh, I'm ready to go. I was like, I got no questions, So, it's funny how the experience can be so different,
for everybody, it's very different.
It shows that you got good person skills, or
patience. Like I said, man, patience.
Yeah, because it's a journey, man.
Yes,
but
definitely.
If you've been doing it this long, you know what you're doing. Yes. So, I mean, that's pretty interesting. I guess my last question for you is, what are the jobs that you dread, and what are the ones you get excited for?
Honestly, now, I used to get excited for like different kind of cars, like supercars, like Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and stuff like that, Audi R8s, just because they're nice cars. But now what I get excited for is it's just doing different projects. So like if a guy comes to me and he has like your everyday car, I don't know, like a Dodge Charger or something. He's like, hey, I want to do it. I want to really make it personal. I want to do some stuff you've never done before. I've never seen it on your page. Can you do this? Can you do that? And I'm like, well, I've never done that, but I'm pretty sure I can do it. And we do it, and it's crazy. Like, it looks so dope. And it's like, it's for me, that's growth, because it's something I haven't done, and it's artwork, so I can appreciate it. But those are the jobs that get me excited. Like doing, I don't know, the guy told me can you do glow-in-the-dark brake calipers? Ooh. With a custom, like, graphics on the brake calipers with my son in it? I said, oh, what? I'm like, bro, your imagination's going further than I even thought. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's like,
let's do it.
The fact he asked for that is crazy.
And then we did it, and I'm like, whoa. I need to advertise. I haven't advertised it yet. I need to
I didn't see it. I might have asked for glow-in-the-dark brake calipers.
I got some other stuff too. You'll see.
I feel ripped off now.
Nah. It's like it's it's just crazy because it's like you just never know what you're really gonna get. Yeah. And who you're really gonna meet. And it's just been a great experience, like overall. Because I'm doing people a favor. You come to me with your car customized, not because you need your car mechanically fixed. Like, no, it's because it brings joy to people, and that's while I'm here, and I love that. I love that feeling to give to people.
Look, man, I work with I did like field technical work, right? So we would go all over Southern California and install technology, fix technology, replace technology, you name it, we would do it. And I can tell you right now, when you're going to someone's home to give them things they don't need, there's no happier experience. When you're going to some guy's house and giving him a 90-inch TV, everyone's smiling from beginning to end, Definitely. When you go to a guy's house to fix a broken TV, the whole vibe is different.
It's your fault.
Yeah, now you're I'm missing my shows. Like, you don't realize how many people's life is a television, and stuff like that. So it's really cool that you get to do the cool side. You're not the guy who's fixing transmissions and because those people are pissed before they show up. Yeah. It's not even about you anymore. All you can do is get them back to square one. Exactly. You're not enhancing their life. You're just getting it back to normal. Exactly. You're taking it past normal. Exactly. People show up to you like, oh my God.
No, for real. I've been at clients' house where they're having air. It's hot outside. Mm. I'm in the garage. I'm sweating too, but I'll only be here for an hour. They live here and their AC's out. Mm. When he comes, he's getting chewed out. What took you so long? This and that. I was low key like 10 minutes late, and then no, you're good. It's fine. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. But when he comes, I'm like, dang, like I'm getting chewed out. So I definitely see the difference, and I appreciate what I do too. And I'm blessed for sure. I can say that.
So talk to me about jobs you don't look forward to.
And the jobs I don't look forward to.
Is it like a certain car or a certain type of job? Is it because there's got to be that. So for me, I used to fix TVs. If it was a Sony TV,
the Vizios or the what was it?
Just taking apart a Sony TV alone, a mission. The process was like they're made to not be fixed.
Yes,
like
foreign cars.
Is there anything for you? Like, what are the things where you go, yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah. Sometimes. You get it's to the point where I worked on all different types of cars, so I'm pretty comfortable now. But it used to be like foreigns. Mm-hmm. Every single time I was gonna do a Beamer, those damn lugs would get stripped.
Oh man!
And like the lugs they're not really made like.
What is it about
strong?
them?
They're not the material, like the metal for the lug nuts to take off the tire. I gotta be able to take off the tire. Those lug nuts, they're just not strong. So when I'd go put my socket on there and pull it off, it would just sometimes strip the lug to the point where I can't do the job. I need to take off the wheel, paint the wheels, and paint the brakes. I can't do it. It's just little things like that. Or we might have the customers who are, I don't want to steer anybody away, but they might be asking too many questions. Yeah. Stuff that, first off, I already answered. Yeah. So if you ask me that same question 2 to 3 times, I know that's what you're worried about. I'm not worried about it. I answered it. Hey, so the paint's not going to chip off, right? Chip off the wheels? No, it's not. I know that, but they don't. So they worry about that. So when I come there, they just give me a little harder time. Yeah. Because they just don't know. And it's okay. I understand. But those jobs, I'm like, okay, look, we got a Karen. We have a Karen worried about the stuff she doesn't need to worry about. Yeah. Just because she doesn't know. And then 3 days down the road, she's giving me a bunch of business because she's the person that was worried about it. But also the person who's going to say, hey, I was worried about my wheels chipping. These guys do the best job. My wheels haven't chipped in 3 years. Go to them. Mm-hmm. So you learn. It's give and take. Yeah, it's a bittersweet. You're gonna deal with them at that point, but you just do your thing. And at the end of the day, it's gonna work out because they're gonna like it. So they're gonna like it.
What about like your supplies or your products? Are there certain brands you've bought and stuff where you go, man, I'll never buy that again because I look bad as an installer, even though it was the product, not the installation?
That was a great question. There's been times where I couldn't get my hands on what I needed or what I'm used to, like primer. I only use one type of primer, and that's the primer is what's gonna make everything durable and not chip, or it's gonna make it look the finished product. It's gonna make it look better. Yeah, it's the foundation. So if you don't have the right primer, it can mess up your whole job. I've had jobs where I used where I couldn't get the right primer I needed. They were sold out. The automotive paint stores are sold out, or lack of raw materials because of COVID. So I had to try different materials out. Most of the time it worked out because I would still look at the ingredients and like what's made in the actual can or the paint or whatever I might be using. But the other times, man, it ruined the whole job. I had to redo the whole job the next day over. I'm like, hey, now it has to dry. Yeah. And I got to sand it off. And then, or just whatever I have to do, stuff like that. So there's definitely been times where I've used the wrong primer or the material, or when I was younger, I would try to maybe go cheap on material, like my vinyl wrap. I was using Chinese vinyl wrap, and I was like, no, this is not gonna work. I'm like, I spent $100 on this vinyl wrap. Really, the the 3M costs maybe $500, you know?
Yeah.
So I try to cut corners, and then I learned you can't cut any corners.
You realize why 3M doesn't lower their price.
Exactly, because they're going to make the job easier, and they're going to make it more durable, and it's going to last way longer, and that's what you want. You want the client to be happy, and you want to be happy installing it. You don't want to be like, oh, why did I do this?
Yeah, I was going to say, enjoying your install process is also about the product as well.
It's everything.
There's nothing worse than the installation journey with crap.
And then having to deal with
the aftermath. Man.
And you know, like, dang, I went cheap. So I learned quick, bro.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to do anybody wrong. I'm not a cheap guy. My car parts are expensive.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, you know, at least I was trying to take it the business aspect, save money, keep your overhead low. But I learned with it just depends on what services you're offering. You can't keep it cheap.
Yeah.
Some products are naturally just cheap, and it's okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
You do what you got to do. But other things, if you can cut a corner, don't. Because you just have to always do it the right way, and you can get the best outcomes. And it's gonna save you money and time as a business owner.
All right, man. Well, finally, where can people find you? How can they look you up? How can they book you? What's the info?
So you can you can follow me on Instagram, Live Life Customize, all one word. Just Live Life Customize. I'm on Yelp, Live Life Customize. I'm on Facebook. My website's coming soon. It will be livelifecustomize.com, but I will be advertising that on my social medias. So mainly just follow me on Live Life Customize on Instagram, and I post everything on Instagram. And everything that's going to be coming, you'll see on Instagram.
Beautiful. Look, man, it was a pleasure having you here. I learned a lot personally.
Thank you.
And outside of that, man, Live Life Customized.
I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, man.
Until next time, man.
All right.